Hi, I'm Karen from iFixThings, and I know it's been a while since I've made a video, so sorry about that. The other day I went to an estate sale, and I had the opportunity to buy one of these cool little belt sanders. However, as I've plugged it in and have been trying to use it, I've discovered a couple of problems that I want to show you about, and I believe there are some quick fixes that we can do to get it to work. So, can't hurt, right? Since it's not really working. Anyways, let me show you what I mean. When I try to turn it on and watch, you hear that buzzing sound? That means juice is coming to the device. The motor's feeling the juice, but it's just not starting up. So let's take a look inside. Watch what happens when I push the start button and then just give it a little bit of a nudge. And I'm going to go ahead and take off the belt so that I don't get belt flopping all over the place. Hang on. So I'm going to turn on the power. See that? It works. Doesn't start initially, but I give it a little nudge. Starts right up. So typically what that means when you can sort of start a tool and then it gets going, what that oftentimes means is that the capacitor is bad. And a capacitor is simply a battery type device that stores a bit of energy in it so that when a tool is energized, it gives an extra oomph, like an extra dose of electricity to get that tool started. And then the electricity coming to the tool keeps it going. Sometimes they're called start capacitors, sometimes they're called run capacitors. Either way, if the capacitor is bad, what you see, what I did, is exactly what happens. You send juice to the tool, but it kind of sits there doing nothing. And when you give it that extra little oomph, it gets going. So we're going to take this apart. We're going to see if the capacitor is bad, and if it is, we'll replace it and see if we can get this bad boy working. Anyhow, this doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge. I am in no ways telling you what to do. This is what I'm going to do with my tool. Please, if you do anything like this, it's at your own risk, alrighty? So let's take a look inside. There it is. That's the capacitor right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark as best as I can, since I am not an electrician or a technical electricity person. What I'm going to do is see if any of these leads indicate whether they're positive or negative, so that if I do replace it with a new capacitor, I'm making sure that the right lead goes into the right color. And before I cut anything, I'm going to make sure I at least identify which line went into the blue line. And here's the thing you want to be super careful of. These things still will maintain a charge, so do not let these two things touch together. All right? All right. Let's go test this bad boy. So before I do a thing, I'm neatening up the ends of the capacitor, making sure to keep the ends apart. And I built this gizmo. Oh, let's see if you can see it. I built this gizmo to assist in depleting the charges inside of a capacitor. What a lot of people do is they'll put a screwdriver across the two leads, thereby discharging the capacitor completely. Honestly, I'm a little afraid of that. So I watched a video where I can create a capacitor depleter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one on this end Oh, crap. Okay, I should have thought through that. That's not grabbing very well. Hold on. Okay, there's one end. There. There's a big old resistor inside this. They say it takes about 10 seconds if there's any juice in there. All right. Now let's go to the testing. All right. So I've gone ahead and discharged this capacitor just out of the abundance of caution, because sometimes they still might have a charge in them. So before I put my capacitor on my electrical tester tool, I'm just going to go ahead and discharge it. And if you want, go ahead and look up capacitor discharging device, which I've made here. I've gone ahead and put it across the leads, and it sort of discharges it slowly. So I'm going to go ahead and test this, see what its values are. And I also, just because I do this, I went ahead and bought a new capacitor with the same microfarads. So this is 12 microfarads. This is 12 microfarads. So that's this little funny little number right here. Let's see if we can see that. See that? 12 microfarads plus or minus 5%, 250 volts. So I went ahead and bought the same one. But let's go ahead and test this, see if it's bad, which I'm sure it is. And then we'll test this and see what a good one looks like. Not everybody has a tester like this. I would recommend it because you just never know when you need something like that. YouTube videos teach you all about this kind of stuff. To test a capacitor, you need this setting right there. See how it's pointing to that? And I gotta tell you, I don't even know what it means. But the YouTube videos tell me so. So let's test the bad one. Or the one that I suspect is the bad one. Just go ahead and put these leads right on here. And grip it. And you can see the number is 0.17. So it's barely registering anything. And I'm going to go ahead and do it the other way around. Let's go ahead and reverse the leads, just to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. And still 0.17. Now let's have a look at the new one that I just bought. Put that on there. Put that on there. Pops over to microfarads, and it says 12.3 microfarads. I'm going to go ahead and reverse it. .3 microfarads. Now, this particular capacitor is rated for, or it says 12 microfarads, but plus or minus 5%. So this particular capacitor is correct, and it's a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and install it in my little belt sander and see if we can get this bad boy working. Okay, this is the inside of where the capacitor is held. I went ahead and neatened up the ends, the loose ends. Grabbed some wire nuts out of my bucket of wire nuts. Hey, when you've lived as long as I have, you have wire nuts all over the place. So we're going to go ahead and take our new capacitor. And I looked, I don't see any plus or minus indicator. There's not one longer than the other to try to let me know if one is a positive or a minus. So to me, that tells me that it'll go either way, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and and twist these together. You can see how that works. You twist those together, and then you take the wire nut and you twist that on as well. And you'll feel it sort of grab and eventually stop. I'm going to do that with the other one as well. Twist them together. Grab your wire nut. Screw that on there. And what I do is, I'm a little bit type A, so I have a tendency to be super careful. I'm going to go ahead and tape around these wire nuts just in case, because you don't want anything to come loose and then have this little wire inside that little box going all over the place. So I always like to sort of tape it all up anyhow. Let's do that for the other one as well. Alrighty, now we're going to put this in there. This came with a mounting bracket right here, so I'm going to go ahead and slide that in. Put the mounting bracket around it and look for the hole inside there. Hang on. Here it is. Alright, capacitor has been successfully mounted. Wire nuts successfully wire nutted. And let's just go ahead and give it a test. I got the belt out of the way. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see what happens. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I fixed it. I love it when a plan comes together. I figured if I buy a capacitor and I spend $8-9 for it, what can it hurt to give it a try to see if it's fixable? So now I'm going to button this back together. I'm going to have a working belt sander that wasn't working before. And I saved myself a lot of money because I would have originally thrown this away. But that bothers me too much. So why not just spend another $8 and see if I can get the bad boy working? Because I could hear electricity going to the motor, it kind of gave me a hint that it's a bad capacitor. Now I know, and I've got a new belt sander. Anyhow, I'm Karen for My Fix Things, and I want to say sometimes there's a fix that's pretty easy. This one was pretty easy. I didn't even need to have that little electrical tester. I could have just simply taken out the old capacitor, popped in a new one that had the same microfarads, and been done with it. Never really knowing, was it the capacitor or anything like that. But I was just curious and wanted to have a look at the bad one and see what it was doing. Anyways, these kind of fixes are easy for me. It might be easy for you, but again, I'm not telling you what to do. This is what I do for my stuff, and otherwise it was destined for the trash heap. Anyhow, you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.